Hi Stampers, it's Linda Schmitt with Stampin' with the Hounds. I have a fun technique today to show you. This is one that my card club last week made, and they do, we switch off from like techniques and fun folds, and so we've been doing this for years and years and years. I think this is like our third volume, but I do a little book for them that has all of the instructions for them, and then they make, they get the page, and then we make the card with it. So this is one that we did this past week, and it's using the Brayer and your embossing folder. So I did 3 different styles. I'm going to show you this Rainbow Glimmer one is what I'm calling, and what it is you take a piece of white cardstock in this case, and we're just going to blend some colors on it, and then we're going to use our embossing folder, and we're going to ink up the embossing folder and then run it through the machine, and then we get that little, what I call that glimmer kind of in the background. So I'm using a metallic ink pad. It is something that Stampin' Up! No longer carries, but I had, I've gotten, some from over the years when we would carry them during the holiday mini catalog, but you can find the little metallic ink pads anywhere, or, or you can use like a shimmer spray too, if you wanted to try that. But we're also going to be using, and this is I'm going to show you how to make that little bunny tail, and that is using, this ribbon is actually in the US clearance rack right now. It's I think it's called Woven. Frayed ribbon. I think it's like $2 or $3. So, but you basically take this and kind of, fray it apart, and then you get this little string, and then I just wind it up using some glue dots and stuff to make that little cottontail. So I'll show you how to do that, but we're going to get started. I'm going to do a series of videos that'll all be with Brayers and embossing folders. So thanks for joining me, and let's get started. So we are going to start off, like I said, with some white cardstock, and on this one, this particular one, just because I'm just using a little more than halfway across the card. This was 2.5 by 5 1/4 on this piece, and this is the heavy Whisper white cardstock. So I'm going to I've got a little piece of sticky kind of grid paper that I just cut down, and I'm just going to put this on the back, and this is just going to, you can use a post-it note too. This is going to help me so my paper doesn't move around. You can also use I should probably do that too, your silicone mat. And then for the rainbow blending, you want to pick colors that are going to blend together nicely. You don't want to get like a brown rainbow. So I am using Lemon Lolly, which is one of our new colors. Fresh Freesia, which is one that returned, and now it's in the Subtle family. And then Coastal Cabana, which is one that we've had around for a while. So those are the 3 colors that I'm going to be using. And I first start with the Lemon Lolly, just because this is the lightest color, and I don't want it to get my brushes mucked up or anything. So I start with the lightest color, and I'm going to use gotta get some of my stuff out of the way here. Okay, I'm going to use my little mat here just to hold my ink pad, and let me just shift this up so I stay in camera. There we go. So if you don't have the glass mat, because like I said, this little gripper mat comes with it, you can, again, just put your ink pad on your silicone mat. I always tell people to get several of these because I use them all the time. And I have multiple of them. So we're going to start with, like I said, the Lemon Lolly. So I'm going to take my blending brush, and we're just going to ink this up. And I just re-inked this pad because after I had, oh gosh, there was like 7 of us, I think. And after everybody was doing this, I had to re-ink my pads a few times. So we're going to start with the yellow at the top. And I'm kind of starting on the silicone mat and then working my way across. And you want to keep your hand, the finger kind of holding the brush head so we're not bending the brush. And then it's just circular motion back and forth, and we're going to do like a third, and a third. So I'm going to just get my yellow, the Lemon Lolly, This was a color, wow, when it first came out, I'm like, oh, I don't know. But I really do like it now. Okay, and then I'm going to skip, and I'm going to do the Coastal Cabana, which is the color at the bottom. So I get my other brush. So I'm just going to flip this around, and now I'm going to do the bottom and getting that inked up. And you want this to be a nice, good dark color. I mean, by the time you get all done here, because that way when we do the technique, that color is really going to pop on those raised images on it. So you make sure you have lots of color. So I've got my Coastal Cabana nice and dark. Now I'm going to come in with the Fresh Freesia. And that's going to be in the middle. And then I'm also going to bring it up and down to blend so that I'm getting kind of like a periwinkle color down here, and then almost like a sherbet orange, because that purple, which is kind of like a red in the red family, red and yellow make orange. And then that Coastal Cabana is kind of in the bluish, you know, family. So it's like red and blue make purple. So see how I'm starting to get a little bit of that orange? And then if I blend into that Coastal Cabana, I'm going to get a really pretty periwinkle color. So this totally Easter colors is when I designed this. And Easter's so early this year. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get my St. Patrick's Day cards and my Easter cards all done here pretty soon. So much to do. Okay, so then I like to go back. So once I get all my purple in there, I like to go back then with my other colors and just fill in, kind of blend those in a little bit. And then we'll do a little bit of Lemon Lolly. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, and I'll lift that up, take this off for now. Okay, and then I'm going to take my little chamois that comes with my glass mat, and we're just going to wipe off any of this excess ink. Just make sure your station is clean. Nothing worse than muckety muck your card after you have it all done. Okay, so now the next step is we're going to take the folder, and you need a 3D embossing folder. So this is the one, this is online only. It's called the Basics. You get this polka dot one. There is a kind of a crosshatch. I think they're in my other buckets here from my card class. And then there is one that has like, looks like starfish or like little flowers, but you get all three of them for $30, and those are online only. So on the embossing folders, when you open it up, like normally you would just put your paper in, close it, you know, you got the Stampin' Up label face up, and then you would emboss it, and you've got that raised image. What we're going to do first is, so this would be the embossed side. The side that is, I take that back. Oh, I gotta feel it. Okay, yeah. So we're going to ink up. So on the Stampin' Up folders, so where the logo is, this is what I call the debossed side. So when you feel it, it's flat, like the bumps are not raised up. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see? So this is the back side. These are the bumps that are coming up. And then this is the flat, because we want to be able to ink up what I call the negative space. So that has to be the flat part. So we're going to take our folder. Let's see, that's probably not going to fit, so we'll just do it this way. And this is where you'll need your brayer. Now, Stampin' Up used to have Brayers. Oh my God, like 20 years ago when I've been with Stampin' Up for like 20, oh my gosh, what is it now? 26 years? Something like that. And we had the old, what was it, the Speedball. That's what we had originally had used and stuff. So I always just held on to mine because a lot of times with Brayer techniques, you do need more than one Brayer. And then I also had gotten these before Stampin' Up came out with their Brayer, but this is very similar in style to what the Stampin' Up new Brayer is. So Stampin' Up's Brayer is a little bit, it's definitely longer because I think this one is just under 4. Yeah, this is just under 4. And Stampin' Up's is a lot wider. I think it's like 4 1/4 or somewhere around there. And then it has more of like a red rubber. So this is a black one, but it does have these little feet on it. So the feet you always want to have, that's when you rest it so that it's not, the wheel isn't touching your workstation. But when you go to ink, you need to have those feet face up so that the Brayer isn't, you know, those feet aren't getting in the way as you're rolling. So we're going to ink up, as I said, the debossed side. So having that logo face down, and then you've got that flat surface. And this is where I'm taking a metallic ink pad. And again, you can pick these up, you know, anywhere. This is just a gold one that I had on hand. And when you brayer, you want to pick a direction and stick with it because you need to make sure that this entire brayer gets inked up. If you just go back and forth, you're only going to ink up the bottom half of the brayer. So you want to ink up the entire brayer. So we are going to go, and I like to kind of do the width, you know, because this is the same width as the ink pad. Move this down a little bit so you can see better. So I'm just going to ink this up. Now initially it's going to take, you know, a few rolls through to get this entirely inked up. But once this is inked up, then when you go to start doing multiple cards, it doesn't take very long to ink it up. Okay, so now all of that is inked up. Then we're going to brayer just half of this deboss side because my cardstock is only a half of a sheet, so I don't need to ink up the entire brayer. So again, keeping those feet face up, we're going to go back and forth, and we're just inking up just half of it, making sure you're getting all the way down to the top or to the bottom there, and then try not to get ink up on the opposite side of the folder. And you're just going to go back and forth, back and forth. Okay, and then when we go to rest it, we're going to flip it over so that now our feet are facing down, and then we can just put that on our workstation and the ink doesn't get everywhere. Now with the folder, you're going to take your cardstock and place it on the opposite side, making sure you're in line with where, you know, where that ink is. And then all I do is I close it, hold on to it, and then I'm going to run this through my embossing machine. I'm going to do this off screen, but everybody has got different embossing folders or machines and stuff. So, you know, you have to kind of play around with what your machine does. So mine, all I need is the platform, the folder, and I always run the folder where the spine is going in first, and then I've got an adapter plate. So I'm going to real quick run this off screen. Okay. Now, if it's not, oh, that turned out good. If it's not fully inked, go ahead, re-ink it. Don't touch this cardstock because you don't want to have it shift out of place. Re-ink it, close it, and run it through the machine again. But this looks really, really good. It looks all inked up. So I'm just going to call it one and done. And then all you need to do now is just clean that folder. Just take a damp cloth. You can run it underneath the sink. just because you really don't want the ink sitting on these folders for long periods of time. And I will say, when sometimes you're doing this, make sure if you're ever doing anything with a black ink, do not use a stays-on ink pad, because your folder will be stays on. It'll be permanently black. So just as a little FYI there on your inks and stuff. So that's all cleaned up. So, and that's it really on that technique. I mean, it's super easy. And then your brayer, same thing. All you need to do is just rinse it underneath the faucet. You can use a little bit of mild like dish soap or something if it's an ink that's gonna stain. But when we were doing this at class, this gold, it rinsed off fairly quickly. So I'm not too concerned about it right now for cleaning it. So we'll just let it be. All right, but now since this is kind of a pigment ink, I do want to give this a quick shot with the heat tool just to dry it, just so that I'm not getting ink on my fingers and, you know, on the rest of my card. Okay. All right, so we'll kind of set that aside to dry a little bit farther, or a little bit further. Isn't that pretty? Love it. So that's what I'm calling the Rainbow Glimmer. You're just blending an ink background onto white cardstock and then inking up with the metallic ink and using a 3D embossing folder on the deboss side. And that way your little color is what is popping up. So fun. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so now for the card, I have got some of the Lemon Lolly cardstock. And then this is from the paper pack, Lighter Than Air. It had all these like really pretty pastel colors, so I just used up some scraps when I was doing my never-ending cards for my Valentine's. I had I had so many scraps left over from making all those. So all right, so we will just put this together. I'm just going to take this Lemon Lolly, and this is just your standard A2 card, just folded in half. I didn't do any fun folds on this one. Just keeping it simple. Now it looks like I need to trim my paper here. I had to, I broke down, I had to get new blades for my paper trimmer. It was like, ay, ay, ay. I don't know if I can get this to trim or not. We'll see. Pretty close. A lot of times I'll take a nail file too and just kind of sand away at some of those rough edges. All right, so we'll go ahead and adhere this. So what I did is these are gonna overlap just a little bit so that it looks like it ends up being a 4 by 5 1/4 inch panel, which it looks like I do need to trim. This is a touch too long. All right. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so I'm just gonna attach this one down first. Again, just kind of leaving a little bit of a 1/4 inch border. And then this one will then overlap on there. So now see there's a little bit of that gold, so it's not quite all the way dry. So just want to make sure this, clean that up before I put the rest of my card in there. Okay, let's get that out of the way. All right, and then this will get attached. All right, and then my circle I already cut out. This is from my favorite dies. These are in the mini catalog, the Everyday Details. So it's just one of those circle ones that I just punched out or die cut out with the Fresh Freesia cardstock. And then I'm going to use the stamp set Easter Bunny. So this is in the main catalog, the 23-24 annual catalog. So we're going to be using the bunny and the bunny punch from this set. So this is the saying, "You're a friend like no other." And then I'm using the little bunny, and then we'll do the punch on this one as well. So we're going to stamp our greeting. And I just kind of did basic gray just because I was thinking it was Easter. It's a little bit softer and not as stark as a black ink pad. Trying to make myself a little bit of room here. There we go. So on this one, I want to make sure that I'm stamping a little bit closer to the top and over to the left because I want room for my bunny. And since this is photopolymer, I do like to use my foam mat just to give that stamp a little bit of cushion, and then it inks up a lot better having that support underneath there. Let's clean that off. And then for the bunny, so I already stamped, all right, punched them out. This is just white cardstock. And then I've got, I had some scraps left over. This was our velveteen kind of white specialty paper that we had. Gosh, I think it was like last winter or a couple winters ago, but I had, well, this much left. So I thought, well, you got to have a velveteen bunny. So I'm just going to punch that out, and then I will attach this onto the white cardstock. And the reason why I'm doing this is just it gives it a little bit more support. It's not required. It's just something I like to do. I like to layer my die cuts or punches. Oh, no, we got to go this way. So velveteen face up. Make sure my rabbit's going the right way. All right, so that's the cardstock one, and then this is the velveteen that I'm just going to put right on top. All right, and then I'm going to take, these are the little loose daisy embellishments. Make sure I'm opening this right. These are in the main annual catalog. And with these, there's no adhesive on them. So you do have to add a glue dot onto the backs of these. And so I'm just going to use my pick tool. I think I've got a few dots left on here. Okay, so we'll pick this up. So I just like to pick them up with my pick tool. Those are my three I'm going to do. And then I will add my little glue dots. So I just kind of pick it up, put them on there so that the glue dot is on. Do I have any more left on here? I may have to open up a new pack. Yes, I need to open up a new pack. Okay, we'll just put that there for now. We'll put these on first. All right, so I'm going to do this yellow one in the center. And then I'll do one of the white ones. And I'll get a new pack here. So we'll just put that, pick up the glue dot, so the glue dot's on there now. And then now our bunny has its little flower necklace. And then for the tail, so what I did is, so I've already got this string, but you basically, I mean, it kind of frays apart pretty easily. You'll just start picking at it and it'll start to, you'll get this piece that you're just going to then pull off. And that's what you kind of ball up to make the bunny tail. So again, this was in the clearance rack, the US clearance rack, and it was that frayed ribbon. It's like $2 or $3. So, and there's a lot on here. Like I've had this for several years. It's one of them. I don't use ribbon a lot on my projects, but okay. So now what you want to do is you're going to take those glue dots again, and I'm going to put one of these, I'm just going to put a few here on my rabbit, because this is what we're going to use to adhere that tail on there. And then you're basically just kind of wadding up that ribbon and sticking in these glue dots as you go. So I'm just kind of balling it up like between my fingers, and then I'll put a glue dot in, and then I'll smush it together just so I start getting that little shape there. And then I'll grab, so you're going to go through several glue dots to get this. You can do tear and tape too. I just feel like this is a little bit easier to work with. So then I just ball it up. I'll add another glue dot. I'll start bringing this in, just kind of mushing it together. Throw in a glue dot, pinch it, ball it up. Ball it up, add a glue dot, mush it. And then you just kind of keep going until you get the size bunny tail that you want. Again, I'm just kind of balling it up, throwing in a glue dot. There we go. Okay, and then once you get the size you want, you'll then just put that on your card. I'll do one more just to keep this part down. There we go. And then we'll just snip off the excess. And then you just kind of mush that on there. And then if anything is, you know, loose, you can just add another glue dot just to hold it in place. But yeah, so there you've got your little bunny tail. Cute, cute, cute. Okay. And real quick, just to finish this one off, we will add this onto our card. So this I'm just going to straight adhere with some liquid glue, just because we're on that kind of bumpy surface. So I like to use my liquid glue for that. So we'll attach this on here first. And then I will add, I think I'll just glue this. Yeah, I didn't realize how low I was on my dimensionals. After my class, I'm like, oh my gosh, I hardly have anything left. So I had to put in an order along with some other things the other day, but not here yet. Okay, and then we'll just add our rabbit kind of off here. Just hold on to that just to make sure. That's on there good. And then I'm going to use some of these Purple Fine Shimmer. These are in the mini catalog. Unfortunately, I do believe they are on back order right now. They're in that lavender field set, I think, or bundle. But yeah, they're really pretty. They've got that little bit of glimmer, if you can see it, and a little bit of that kind of crosshatch design to it. So we'll just add a couple of these. These are kind of more of the lavender ones. And then we'll do another small one here. All right, so that's the outside, and then we'll real quick decorate the inside, keeping it fairly simple. I'm just going to ink up my bunny that coordinates with the punch, and we'll just put that at the bottom here. And for this one, I was just using my watercolor pencils just to give it a little bit of shading. And then we need our Happy Easter. And this is from the Throughout the Year stamp set. So this was a carryover from the holiday catalog. So this is online only, but it's nice because it pretty much has all your holidays, and it's got some birthdays in there too. So it's a good, I love the fonts in this one. They're nice and clean. Okay, and then we'll just do a little bit of the Happy Easter. And then for the rabbit, like I said, I'm just going to do some real quick shading. So I'm just using the basic gray just to add some depth to my rabbit. And then I'll use the blending pen to blend this in so it's not so pencil looking, I guess, or is that a word? And then I'm doing, this is a Flirty Flamingo, I think, but as long as you go pretty light, it'll look like a pink. So I'm just going to put a little bit in the ear and a little bit on his nose. And then we just take our blender pen, make sure it's clean. And then you're just going to go back in and just blend. Scribble and blend, that's what I am not a good my mother is an amazing artist. She can watercolor, and I just scribble and blend. And then I just kind of clean it off, and then I'll go and do the pink. And I'll add a little bit of the nose and then clean it off before you put it away. So there, it just gives it a little bit of dimension. And then we'll go ahead and glue this into the inside of your card. And then that is it for this one. So then I will move on to some of the other techniques that we did. And plus I'll share some other new ones as well. So that's like my whole Brayer embossing folder kind of series. So this is going to be volume 1 of those techniques. So all right, so there it is. Super fun. Love it, love it, love it. So pretty. So these are some other ones just to show you. Oh, where did it go? That I did. Oh yeah, here they are. Just to kind of give you some other ideas. So this one, it's the same colors. I just did an entire sheet, and then I cut out, using the deckled rectangles, I cut out this piece, and then I did the next size up and just layered it. So if you would lift this up, you would see a hole, because that's the piece I cut out. But just another different layout. I kind of did some of the daisy die cuts from there. So just another way of doing it. And then here I kind of did the Stampin' blends on my bunny for that one. So that's another one. So another cute one. And this one I did a little ribbon on him. So super fun. And then these I did, and this will be another card that I'm going to show. So this is what I call it, like the peekaboo, or kind of a see-through card, because you can see through. There is a window sheet that this circle is kind of like a floating circle. So it's just kind of wedged, it's sandwiched in between there. But I thought that was kind of a, I don't know, I was playing around with it last weekend, and I kind of came up with this idea. So I thought it was kind of fun. But this one I did petal pink, and I sponged, or not sponged, but I kind of added some of the color like petal pink onto the petal pink cardstock. And then this time I did more of a kind of a rose metallic gold ink. But that's another way, you know, on a colored cardstock, you can kind of do that same technique. But this time I did it on a colored cardstock. So there's that one. I thought that was pretty. And then my other one that I made up this morning, this one I did all my ink blending, and then instead of doing a gold, I did a black on there. So that's kind of another fun one. So it kind of shows that rainbow underneath, but then you've got that black that I did on the deboss side of the folder. And then this one is a fun folder. It's kind of it's a gatefold. I was kind of calling it a panel. I don't know, panel gatefold. Oh no, but it's like this flap, this panel is just attached onto just the one part of it with it. And it's another one that's kind of nice because it'll display on it. And this one I kind of just decorated on it. So that was just, I was just playing around this morning. But yeah, so that's another kind of fun one with it. So, but anyway, thanks for watching. And like I said, stay tuned for some of my other ones that I will be showing on how to do your brayer with your embossing folders. So as always, have a wonderful day, and I will stamp again with you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.